Street vending is the selling of products and services to the public without a brick-and-mortar location, and instead solely relying on mobile structures. Street vending is intertwined with the daily Los Angelinos' life. It is estimated that Los Angeles County's streets maintains a vending commerce of over 50,000 vendors. In an article published on LAeater.com on February 20, 2015, the writer states, out of the top 10 most populous cities in the United States, Los Angeles is the only city in which street vending is disallowed entirely. Los Angeles is also, ironically, the city with the highest number of street vendors. Despite this, some cities within the county have found ways to integrate street vendors within their societies. An article published by Leslie Burstein Rojas, an immigration and committees reporter in Southern California's radio website on June 16, 2015, she cites the cities of Santa Ana, Bell Gardens, and Pasadena as cities who allow vendors to purchase selling permits. As some cities begin to permit street vending within their streets, Boyle Heights has taken stage as a leader in the crusade to legalize street vendors within Los Angeles. We took it upon ourselves to scour the streets of Boyle Heights and ask the vendors themselves about their experiences with authority, their personal drives, and their thoughts on the aspect of legalizing street vendors.
¿A usted, siendo esta su única forma de sobrevivir para su familia? Sí. ¿Y usted le da miedo cuando pasa alguien de la policía? ¿Usted?
Sí.
¿Sí?
Pero a 10 años me han quitado mis carritos estos, pero no la policía, la salubridad.
¿Y qué les dicen?
Que nos quitemos. Dicen a uno que son de salubridad y le enseñan a uno su gente que traen. Le quitan a uno toda la fruta, la tiran y el carrito se lo lleva. No, mira, que tengo un permiso, no, viene el inspector. Si me encuentran con la sandía y el melón y el cuchillo y la tabla, me suspende el permiso.
Cada vez que le quitan el permiso, ¿lo tiene que comprar otra vez?
Algo así. Sí. Pero es por parte de la ciudad. Por lo general, te hagan la huella y te toman foto. Si se presenta una corte, no te cobran, pero si no, hasta se te puede hacer orden de arresto. Tuve que agarrar a un abogado la vez pasada, pero yo no sabía. Yo no sabía que tenía orden de arresto, pero quitar a una persona a la cárcel y ahí me salió mi récord que yo tenía orden de arresto y yo no sabía que era por esos tickets. Entonces se tuvo que pagar dinero para que se
Cuando
quitara.
llegan nomás me dice el inspector que no mueva yo nada, que no toque yo nada. Entonces me piden licencia, pero como no tenemos, pues me quitan todo, me comienzan a levantar. Todo me quitan, me tiran la fruta, me tiran todo, las aguas, todo se llevan, nomás me dejan con el propio, nomás. De por sí llega un inspector y me va a buscar de lo que sea. Con poquito que esté yo mal, me va, como digamos, tener el permiso y luego así me va a traer hasta que me suspendan el permiso.
¿Las 5 veces que le han quitado era la policía o eran los de inspectores de la
Es de inspectores de salubridad, pero ahí vienen policías. La policía si anda por acá no me dice nada. Hasta tengo amigos policías que me vienen a comprar. Ellos me han dicho. Dice, nosotros no venimos porque queremos quitarte, nos llaman. Nosotros tenemos que acudir a pues.
Los Angeles County issues permits for mobile vendors without truly specifying what the word mobile entails. In the Mobile Food Facility Check guidelines found in the Los Angeles County website, publichealth.lacounty.gov, we find guidelines like stating commissionary identification, equipment, toilet facilities, menu information, water system, construction requirements, and more guidelines mobile vendors must abide by in order to maintain a permit, or at least that's what they think. The East Los Angeles Community Corporation is an organization whose sole purpose is that of social responsibility within the city of Boyle Heights. Through its website, elac.org, we came across a mission statement in regard to the crusade toward legalizing street vending in Boyle Heights. Their statement reads, ELAC, community residents, and partner organizations have now come together to form the Legalized Street Vending Coalition to push the Los Angeles City Council to implement a policy that will provide a licensing process for vendors to sell foods without the fear of criminalization. Janet Favela, the community organizer for the ELAC, granted us an interview based on voice recording.
With a lot of folks, there's lack of trust. They don't want to give you their real name, they don't want to give you their address, and they don't want to give you a real phone number. Gente is going to be Latino in the city of Los Angeles. It's not the case everywhere in every city, you know. Our membership base, maybe at least over 50% are undocumented, but we do also have a membership base African American vendors. A lot of the folks do tend to be above 40. Not everybody, we have our young 20-something vendors, 30-something vendors, but a lot of folks are in the 40s or even into their 80s because they've already aged out of all these other services. After a certain age, are told your services are no longer needed, we need younger folks in here, you know, but people are pushed out of those industries to make way for younger, faster folks. And then folks need to find an avenue. And folks decide to create their own employment. In many instances too, like we're gonna look at mothers. Mothers go into street vending. A lot of people say instead of working, they're like, I'm gonna create a flexible schedule for myself so I can drop off my kids, pick up my kids. As far as organizations, the one that is funding the opposition is the Central City Association. Try to paint themselves as a group that represents small brick and mortar businesses. Really, their interests are really developer interests. These are the folks that are pushing the metropolization of downtown LA to be more of a New York. These are the folks that don't want homeless people there. These are the folks that don't want immigrant folks there. The same folks that don't want street vendors there, and that want to bring the bars, fancier shops, instead of what has existed in downtown for so long. Oftentimes, people have something, but none of those things give you the right to sell anything on the sidewalk of Los Angeles. Some of them will have a food handler's permit, or will have a cart that is certified through the county. Even if you have that, you do not have the right to sell on the sidewalk because municipal code prohibits that. A seller's permit just says you have a permit to sell. In some ways, having any documentation of anything sometimes saves.
In an article written by the reporter Dakota Smith, published by the Los Angeles Daily on January 22, 2015, which highlights the news in regards to vendors falling prey to gangs, it is stated, working from pushcarts and food trucks, vendors generate $504 million in annual sales. But the illegal nature of their work makes vendors easy prey for extortion and robberies. As Los Angeles considers allowing street vending, advocates argue legalization will encourage more crime reporting, reduce violence against workers. Vendors are in a vulnerable position.
Some of the stuff that gets sensationalized is gangs asking for taxes or money from street vendors. You know, oftentimes when it's put on the media, it's blamed on the street vendor for being out on the streets rather than the criminal element. But are they more vulnerable to crime? Because they have nowhere to go to because the police is then in a position where they are losing their merchandise, where they're losing their equipment, where they are getting cited and then have to enter the system, where they might get misdemeanor and might not be able to have legalization once legalization is available because they have misdemeanors in their past. Some street vendors end up getting arrested, right? And then spend time in jail, and then hopefully they don't get deported, but it does happen that they do get deported, right? The sheriff's department has said that they would continue to collaborate with ICE. So they caught you on street vending, even let's say even on street vending, if you just deserved a ticket, if you don't have a California ID, they can take you in for booking to figure out who you are. As soon as you enter that system, if you're not documented, you can get stuck and probably get deported.
Legalizing street vending within Boyle Heights and Los Angeles County in general is of great importance. In legalizing street vending, we will provide people with an equal job opportunity, have a greater contribution to the city's economy, and have an overall better regulation of human rights and protection.